all. Uh, so now we will start with the session number 2 that we have organized for today, and the topic for this session is accelerators slash incubation opportunities for students. And on the behalf of IIC of our college, I would like to welcome the speaker that we have for today's session. We have Mr. Sudip Faldesai. Sudip Faldesai sir is not a stranger to us because he had very kindly accepted our invitation to deliver one of the first impact lectures that our college had organized. So, Mr. Sudip Faldesai, of course, is the project coordinator for Goa State Innovation Council. He has held different positions across different organizations. He was the state nodal officer for National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber and Physical Systems. He also was the government representative at the Incubator Seed Management Committee, Startup India Seed Fund under the Startup India Seed Fund scheme. He's also the member secretary of Technical Advisory Committee, that is for the provisional patent scheme, again under the Goa State Innovation Council. And of course, he's also the advisor for the IPR cell at the Don Bosco College of Engineering, that is at Fatorda. So, sir has all the necessary experience and the know-how to deal with this particular topic. Before sir takes over, I would also like to thank Mr. Dhananjay from Omira, who was very instrumental in making sure that we got the correct faculties to deal with these topics. The first session, of course, and of course the second session that we have for today. So again, welcome to all, especially to the students who will be watching this video later. And of course, sir, thank you once again for accepting our invitation once again, because as I have mentioned, you are no longer a stranger to our institution. So, sir, I hand over the reins of this session to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mohit, for the wonderful introduction. Mohit, I'm also trying to log in using one more device of mine. So can you please help me log in?
Yes, sir. Just give us. Is the second? Okay, okay, sir. We'll take a look at.
Mohit, it will be with my email ID, projectofficer@jsic.in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry for that. Okay, I mean, a very good morning to
Sir,
one.
I think your second device has logged in.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mohit. Yeah, a very warm good afternoon, good morning to one and all. I believe that this session is being recorded. So I'll try to make it as interesting as possible for you all. So the topic which was given to me is early stage funding, that is through accelerator and startup process. So what I'll do, we are very familiar with how the startup ecosystem works. So I'll focus more on the topic that is early stage funding. So what are the types of companies that we can register when it comes for funding purpose or company registration? First is the proprietorship. That is, one person can be a proprietor for a company, okay, and that person can run the company as a single person operating it. Okay, most of the businesses that are operated is the small size kirana shops or small businesses, they are mostly on proprietorship basis. Second type of company registration that can be done is through partnership. Partnership is mostly between more than two or more people, where they come together and then they work towards a business or model, or towards earning, usually towards earning profits. Okay. Third type of registration is limited liability partnership, where all the partners who are who are registered for the company, they have limited liabilities and they are not totally liable for all the aspects of the company. For example, if one person says that, okay, I'm only going to invest or I'm only going to give my space on rent for the company, so his liability is only that much, and he's not responsible for other activities in the company. The fourth type of company registration is private limited. So private limited is the company registration that is most ideally and a lot of funding happens at this stage. So at private limited, what happens is that the whole company. Okay, let me talk about a startup. Like the startup is well structured. They have directors on. They have the registrations done. Okay, and then also the stakes of the company are distributed through the agreement set forth in the during the company registration. The last type of registration is public limited, where once you become a public limited company, you can raise funds from the public through various financial instruments. So this is the types of company registration. This is the basic level. I thought that we'll start with the basic level so it is easier for you to understand once we reach to a stage where I'm going to talk about startup funding. Okay. So now the most important question is, should I raise funding? So this is a very difficult question to answer because each stage of the funding process requires a lot of commitment, and there is a lot of goals that you need to achieve. Like for example, maybe for first 6 months for you, the milestone will be to develop the product. For next 3 months, it will be to do a minimal viable testing of the prototype that you have built. And once this is done, the next milestone will be to sell it to do have a MVP, that is minimal viable product. You test the do the testing and analysis, and then after a year's time, you get traction for your business. So there is no straight answer to this question, but you can raise fund only when you need to raise fund. That is, let's say you need fund because you have built a prototype, you did the MVP in the state of Goa, you have done the pilot, and you realize that okay, this model is working, and little change, little updates, and then I can make it better. And once your product is ready, you go to an investor saying that okay, my product is ready, I need to take it to a different level. That is the level, you can set the level. Like for example, if you are looking for seed fund, then you can go for seed fund. Okay, if you're looking for market expansion, you can go for mostly for VCs, because they are the ones who will help you open up new market for your product. Okay. Okay, zone. So I easy. So I have we have discovery zone, that is the idea. Second is seed funding zone, that is for proof of concept. Proof of concept is nothing but you have built a prototype of your product and you are showing it. You are showing a tangible product to others. Next is the seed funding round, that is for product design. The fourth stage is startup funding, that is for product development. Okay, and the last stage is for expansion, that is for manufacturing and delivery. So ideally, at the first stage, mostly the founder or the founders, they come together, they pitch in their uncles or their parent with a little amount of money to start with an idea. So this is where the discovery stage is there, where you are investing your own money with little support from your parent or from your friends and family, and then you are starting up your business model. Next is you have to build a proof of concept. So over here you are looking to develop the product. So usually angel investors, they come in at this stage, and if any of your friends or family, they have a little money which they are ready to invest or risk it, so even they can join you as angel investors. Angel investors are usually people who come to you at a very early stage in building a product. Okay, because here what happens is that when you're working on a product, it is important that there is you have a mentor with you who can guide you at a level where he understands the market or he understands the requirement. And then also there are a lot of aesthetics for your product. That is when you're building the product. So that's where the angel investors will come with their money. Usually, angel investments are mostly grants or seed level funding that you receive, and they stay with you till you are expanding or till you are you the till the founders exit the company. Okay. Next stage is the product design. Again, product design is same as you're building a product, testing, building a prototype, designing, testing, then prototypes. Then you're also looking for patent options, and then copyright options, and then you move on to product development. So once you come to a product development is the stage where you need funds more to develop a good market ready and a scalable product. This is when a lot of government institutions are helping you with seed funds. Like we have the India seed fund plus startup seed fund. A lot of investments are happening at this stage where you go to and go to any of the government organizations. So they are ready to invest in you by giving you an amount which is around 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs of rupees to build your product, and that comes at the seed level. Okay, so once your product is ready, once you are ready for going in the market, and then you have done the testing, and then you have realized, okay, we are ready, and then we can move ahead and the next stage, and you are looking to expand your product, or you are looking to go to metropolitan cities, tier 1, tier 2 cities with your product. So that is when venture capitalists will come in. So ventures, VCs as we call them, so VCs, they come with a milestone, with a plan. So when they invest in your company, they make sure that they do a proper due diligence about you. They look at how good the team is, what are the problem statements that you're solving, how impactful your idea can be, and then also most importantly, they'll see how they can recover their money back. Okay, so so the whole process is explained in today's presentation. Okay, move on to the next slide. So, what are the types of capital that you can raise? First is there are two types basically. First is debt, and there is equity. So, debt is usually the money that you borrow from institutions like NBFC or banks, which comes with a certain interest rate that you have to return within a specific duration of time. Okay, in that there is NBFC, that is non-bank financial companies. These are mostly non-bank financial companies where you take money on interest. Okay, the best example is the Marwadi community, where they have a model where they lease, where they give their money to their relatives or to their friends on an interest model. Okay, next are banks. Okay, with various financial instruments that they have. Uh, and coming to equity, most of the funding that happens at the equity level. So at the equity level, it is unlike to the debt capital, where you don't have to give a interest, neither there is a time duration to return the money. But here, the people who are investing the money for the startup, they are looking to make profits out of it. Okay, so first will be friends and family. Maybe let's say somebody has some money with them, so they would like to invest in some startups, and then they will also try to push the startup as one of their own. Next is the angel investors that we already spoke. Third is the venture capitalists, VCs. Fourth is private equity, and the final is IPO, that is initial public offering. So there was a big news about the LIC IPO which was launched, right? So the even Zomato IPO which was launched. So in the IPO, what happens is that the startups, they go on public offering, that is in their shares. Okay, they allocate a certain percentage of shares which public can purchase from them. Okay, that's a very that is one of the exit policies also for startups. Okay, so now let us talk about what do investors are looking for. First, most important thing is they are looking for the team. they are least interested in rest of the things. The first most important thing is they are looking for how committed the team is. Ideally, they are looking for two or three co-founders. That is, the first question when you go for a funding round is that they will ask you how dedicated the team is. That is are the founders doing this as a part-time job, or they're doing it by leaving their own company, and then what is at stake for them. Most of most of the funding rounds, if any of the founders says that no, I'm part time doing this, but I'm doing a job to support my financial needs. So they are the investors, they are like, okay, this he himself doesn't have trust in his own company. So how can they can put this their capital in such person company? Okay, so mostly these three people are the tech person, the marketing person, and mostly the operations guy. What they are looking for, and also they are looking for how big they are going to think about it, and what is their end goal. Like for example, let's say somebody starts with an online food delivery app. So are they looking to compete with Zomato, Swiggy, or they have other plans? Or, I mean, mostly the bigger vision of it. Okay? And then they're also looking for the key team members. What kind of team members do you have? What is their background? What is their experience? Okay, and how robust the team is. Also, the relevant work experience. Let's say if somebody comes with an online truck or a logistic company, so they will also see that okay, at least one or two founders they have some background about the logistic domain and how well they understand the market and what type of network they have. Okay? So all this is basically done to make sure that the team doesn't fail. Okay? Then passionate team members is again how committed they are towards the work. Then who are the advisors on board? So advisors are very important aspect of a company, because when you have advisors with a great portfolio with their name, so the advisors they also come with their network. And when you're looking for collaborations or connecting with potential partners, so advisors they come very handy in it, and investors they also look for such startups which have good portfolio of advisors on their board. Okay, complementary strengths are nothing but apart from this core business, what other diversification can be done, what other benefit the startup is offering. Okay, next is great ideas and great concepts. So investors they are looking for value proposition, that is what problem is being solved. So here the problem can be a similar problem which somebody else is doing already. Okay, but here what they are doing is that they are looking for uh, sorry. So let me give an example over here. We had Uber already offering car rental services, but then Ola came into the market. So here, investors are mostly interested in understanding what problem Ola is solving. Okay, Uber was launched as a niche taxi aggregator, but then Ola came saying, "And okay, we are going to operate in tier one, tier two, and we're also going to operate in tier three cities as well." Okay, and then what is the product and services. So the value the USP over here will be your product and your services, how easy it is for your end user to utilize your services, how easy it is for him to refer it to his friends, and then how do you make sure that they are coming to you again and again for utilizing your services. Like for example, let me talk about Swiggy and Zomato. Now that they have disrupted the food ordering system, where now we don't have to go to the restaurant for dining, but they will make sure that they deliver the food to your house with a nominal charges that is doing. So here the value proposition for Swiggy and Zomato is the online food delivery feature. Okay, next is the business model and quality of revenue. So the quality of revenue over here is how quickly you can attach or you can engage a customer so that you get more and more revenue over a period of time. Okay, so here what they do, they also look for cost of acquisition of the customers, that is the end users, and is it easy to have repeat customers rather than looking for more customers. Okay, business model is nothing but ideally it talks about who are your end users, what kind of service you're going to offer to them, what are your communication channels, what is your marketing strategy, then also who are going to be your competitors, collaborators for you. One myth is that uh, investment is about technical details. No, it is not about technical details. It is mostly about your value proposition that you are offering. Okay, for example, ideas can be common, but the way you implement those ideas can be different for different people. Okay, next is the market opportunity. Very important that you have a depth research done about your market. For example, if you're offering trucks or you are into logistics services, you have to understand, you have to have relevant data which tells you that how big the logistic market is in India. And then you have to project it in such a way that if out of 100% of this market, we are going to operate in the Konkan area or in Goa, which is around 10% of the total market size. So this will give the broader picture for the investors to convince them, okay, that the market is big enough for them to operate. Okay, then also competitive landscape will talk about what are the competitions, what are the services they are offering, and how unique you are from your competition. Mostly the feasibility of the technology that you're going to implement, that is your solution to the problem statement, will differentiate yourself from your competition. Next is robustness of growth drivers. That is nothing but who are the people who are going to support you, who are going to be your collaborators, what are your milestones for you. Next is the unique selling proposition. So unique selling proposition will always be your product and your services. What is the different unique selling what difference between you and your competition that you're offering, and how can your customers be engaged with your business model. Okay. There is also entry barriers. That is what entry barriers you set. Okay, there is first movers advantage. So usually first movers advantage is where the market is disrupted by the players. I'll give you the example of a startup called Noble Marketplace, where Noble Marketplace was people doing ready-made brokerage in real estate transactions. Okay, so they also set a high entry barriers in this segment. Next segment, in this segment is usually that how big the market level is with lower capital expenditure, IT firms, healthcare, etc. So here what happens that capital expenditure, how fast, how quick you can grow. So talking about opportunity, about right, you achieve concept. Ideas are always they can be in the form of be some tangible product services, a tangible product, or on paper, which talks about business models and how you can grow your business. Then is the track that is once you sell it in market, your customers to buy your product, and have low cost of acquisition, get first customers, get first services. Okay, roadmap and opportunity. So is a detailed document about your business model. It will give you a goal that okay, in next 6 months I am going to this product to to certain region. So compare your achievement execution that is very important, and investors will ask for that. for this to adapt and change. Like for example, COVID stage, but then when COVID hit us so hard that they could not sustain because they could not adapt to that were very active or spending heavily in all. It example, insurance companies. Maximum out of the COVID phase. That is, their life is at risk, and insurance or life insurance is the growth requirement of important that when someone trusted in it, because VCs they are looking for profits. They will tested the product and who has started making that person also the parts of the country. Okay, and then what if the plan A fails? So then important that you have plan B and you have plan C. So ideally over here, I would like to take the example of Zomato. So Zomato they had launched as a experience advertise menu on the Zomato app. We put a cable or on the Zomato. Then as Swiggy had to they also had online delivering services. So that's a very use in our daily life. Okay. Now what is good model? You have to understand when you are investment, this is the more important. That is, if they one also in the company, how we make one into 10 time investment. A good revenue model will always be different business model. Some models be dependent on set of customers that ordered. They might services or maybe uh, high like more like business FMCG. There are certain businesses where new customers like logistic companies, startup phase where market is a visibility will be high businesses. Margins because in the end, when I invest in you, they're looking if this business is scaling because model me selling products. Let me take off. So to be a unicorn because the model was very scalable. Uh, resources on the platform. People pay owner have to pay a don't have to locate buyers don't have to locate. So you have one tenant rent the property without and he can tenants potential tenant. Here it's a scalable because the you have disturbed market and owner of the property is dependent on and every time next is low capital expenditure. They have very nature because this company is such an development. overhead, the capital expenditure is very less. Most of the companies this they need the technology from that. Then people are download the high returns. We all know that returns to sell your product. You get the process business spend. Ideally, startup is existing for a period of years. After 5 years, when you have to evaluate strategy to see a bigger plan for public statements, the accounting of your cash flow, uh, and that in your startup there are 15 core verticals. Go vertical you the time there'll be 70% of the vertical get 20% of that is that what percent business model that we make over here. Okay, so now what are most important that you to have? First is the cover, that is business position statement. So business position statement is like the elevator pitch where the investors this is the problem and this is a solution for it. It is like less. Next is the market size, the need that customers have. Solution is give you uh, implementations to the problem. So here you have product, then you have your service, your for offering to your customers, things that for your competitive position for that is and what range that they're offering. If they surprise with okay, this is about competitive. Next support. Uh, this is process channel that makes for you. So most CEOs of the company is to marketing channel for the sales startup. This is a business uh, to so mostly on the milestone your plan are your how do you are going to launch your for you go to in the so you have with for example if it is think about a strategy that you understood that out is or type of society that crowd. Interesting story over here is that during my experience at the Nobel, uh, or we thought society uh, activation that is reaching out to owners from the and uh, and asking them to list out their properties on the platform of broker. So we were brainstorming and then suddenly we got this idea that earlier before the telephones or before the email there were postcards. So we designed a template in such a customized message about the services they all to receive earlier with the feel of a postcard. So this is how you come up with different strategies, okay, for your business to grow. Next is financial projections. Financial projections of background. Here you need to have your spreadsheets ready. What capital expenditures, what are your working expenditures, what are your additional workers, what kind of business customers your how much revenue you are generating. So all that they come over. Next is the funding sort. Funding sort is what you need, purpose do you need. For example, if you need money to so then you go to a person, investor has a good in development. You go to a person who has big funding but also experience of building that. You can onboard them as advisors, or you can also onboard them as angel investors for you. This is management. So management is key over here because unless good thing not implement in an effective way. Okay. For example, looking uh, let of education in education domain start online tuition and online. In your management, you need to have uh, skills, have the experience of being a teacher or have experience of being in a education tech. Because there are advantages you can develop a product which the I mean like that. Let me give you an example of it. Before by so it was in the then by the model where we are you take a teaching criteria you with okay so this management experience because management that now there is visual audio representation of student and effectiveness of learning increases for your learning. That is product launch. When you are going to launch a product, when you're going to go for next funding, uh, ideally with your projections for your sales, when you're going to break even. Okay. And next, the most important is what is your exit strategy? Are you going for public offering or you're looking for acquisition by somebody? So you have to be very specific over here because in the end, the investors they will look for uh, the exit strategy that how will they recover their money once they invest in you. Okay, so I guess that was all the okay. I understand that it will difficult to understand when you have a presentation which is very straight, okay, without any graphics and without any animations in it. So before I wind up the session, I would like to give some insights about incubation. In Goa, we have around 7 to 8 incubators in the state of Goa, where few are private incubators and few are government incubators. Okay, so each incubator has a set of different offerings. Like for example, we have an incubator at Bits Binani called Bioness Incubator, where technologies which are into biology or which is into medical, they are through a set of various testing instruments available over there. Then you have incubators like SIBA. Okay, there's also 91 which are offering technologies. They help you build the technology. So they offer you co-work spaces. Co-working spaces is basically you get a workstation where you just go sit over there. You pay them per month. You get internet access to meeting rooms, access to mentors, advisors from the incubator, and then there are certain accelerator programs where uh, incubator can always be an accelerator because accelerator is when the you raise funds uh, at quick duration. For example, the hackathons or some fundraising sessions set problem statement. You have to pitch in with your idea. You have to show how it is our implementation is different to us, and if they support you, then you can grow at a faster rate. So that is how our accelerator program will help you. Okay, so that is end for my sessions. This is my contact number and email ID. If any of you are looking for any kind of a support for converting your college project ideas into prototypes, we can support you at the prototyping lab of the Goa State Innovation Council. We have established a full-fledged prototyping lab at the Don Bosco College of Engineering, where we will access to 3D printers, laser cutting machines, milling stations, extruding platforms, programming platforms, and also if you are looking to complete your project skills. The first scheme is we give you a grant of 10,000 rupees to buy hardware that you require to build your. These are all say you have designed uh, your product and you are looking to make a proof of concept in the form of a prototype. So that is when this scheme comes in, where a grant of 20,000 will be given to you to buy the hardware. It's a very simple process, and there will be a simple interview. You just have to tell us why it is innovative and what you're going to do with that money. Okay, altogether around 57 prototypes we have supported in last 2 years. And apart from this, we have one more scheme where if anybody is looking to patent your research or patent your project, so we give you a grant of 10,000 rupees to file your provisional patent. Okay, all this is provided to you by the Goa State Innovation Council. Okay, and more than happy to connect with you. And
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session where you nicely condensed, as you yourself said, a lot of complicated information, but very nicely you condense all of those things and presented to us with a very simple yet fairly detailed presentation. So once again, I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time. As we all know, you are quite busy with your work, but once again, you accepted our invitation and delivered this lecture. So once again, I thank you from behalf of the Institutions Innovation College, the principal, the management, and special thanks to Dr. Karan to coordinate with Mr. Dhananjay to organize both this session. And yes, this is we are also in a kind of a learning phase because the IIC was fairly was constituted during the just before the COVID struck. So we were also learning, and we are also these types of sessions and lectures are not only useful for students but the faculty who have been given the responsibility of this council also learning new things from resource persons like yourself. So once again, thank you for accepting our invitation, and definitely we are going to connect with you. And thank you again for providing your contact information so that we can get in touch. The students can get in touch with you, and it is very encouraging that yourself are sparing your valuable time and imparting this important knowledge for. So thank you once again, and we will
thank you.
see you soon
Yeah, thank
and
you.
connect.
Thank from uh, very Omira. I
Yes,
okay.
Omira, Indira.
Thanks so much for giving this platform.
It's always my
The committee, the college, for doing this. Have a good day.
thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.